Good morning, awesome people. This is Nick to the Plus, and I have a little cow friend here. Oh, but how's it going, everybody? It is Tuesday, March 8th, 2022, and it is cold again. It was cold last week. It was kind of nice during this weekend, and then it was cold again. Typical Texas weather, the 12 seasons of Texas. Winter, Fools, Spring, um, second winter, uh, second fall, spring, third winter, the the pollinating, real spring, um, uh, the Hell's front porch kitchen, uh, um, yeah, something like that. But anyway, how y'all doing? I still have a big project going, not ready to reveal. I did get my book pre-approved and then approved, so I'm waiting on the contract, and so I can get publishing. As soon as that comes out, I'll let you know. And so that's a good deal. Pretty excited about that. And then the podcast and the videos will have a lot more structure. We'll be following the book for a while, right? So great things are coming, right? Okay, so today I wanted to talk more about how to start a community garden. So I've been talking about laws and getting out of the systems of the matrix of the systems that we've created that are failing. Stock market's going down. Just read on the news they're gonna halt um, the Russian oil to us, right? So that's one of our major sources, and it's going. We don't have a backup plan, and so it's gonna really fork us, right? And so the stock market's gonna go down even more. It's more tension. Gas prices are going to go up more. Everything else is going to go up more. People are going to be in a real hard spot, right? So it's really important to prepare and to be able to be sustainable, right? So get your storable food, get a alternative power source, and start your own garden, right? So March, April is the time to plant. So I'm depending on my project that I'll finish in April and going to start planting then, right? So mid-April, hopefully. So how to start a community garden. This is from American Community Garden Association, AGGA, communitygarden.org. This is from an article from noble.org/news/publications, but just Google how to start a community garden, right? So here we go. Community garden can provide solutions to a diverse range of unmet needs for communities. Focus on sustainable agriculture, at-risk youth, mental health, and food insecurities. Community gardens can be found in neighborhoods, parks, workplaces, and many other locations. We get a lot of questions about the process of building a community garden. If you manage a community garden or are thinking of starting one, take a look at the resources available through the American Community Garden Association, AGGA, at communitygarden.org, AGGA, ACGA developed the following steps for starting a community garden. We've added our own recommendations below, right? So what I'm really interested is not only is it's not gonna replace, the grocery store right away, right? Um, there's a lot of steps to development to, and then growing a community garden, right? I mean, growing, getting it bigger, getting it more functional, having different aspects of chickens, produce, you know, pigs potentially, you know, bugs, raising bugs, all that stuff. But what I'm also interested in is this at risk youth health and mental health, which I think a lot of people really need is an outlet for better mental health, and working with the earth and growing your own food can help that. But also, if the community is working on a community garden together, it's a centralized thing that they're working on, and they can support each other, and you get a lot more communication and accountability. And so if some household is having an issue or a problem, the community can know about it and help those individuals, right? And so starting in a community garden brings the community together, and potentially, a safer community, a more productive community, a more networked community, just all around 360 win, right? What Alex Jones says, right? So, okay. Number one, organize a meeting of interested people, right? So, if you have a community Facebook page, or you're part of, what's that website? It's the green. It's like Facebook for neighborhoods. I'll come up with it in a minute. But if you have any kind of network already established, a group page, reach out, create an event, invite people if they're interested in meeting about a community garden, right? Then you get a smaller group from that and form a planning committee, right? So you need to have a planning committee, probably, someone in charge of funding, in charge of fundraising, equipment, you know, uh, um, delegating jobs, making a schedule, all that kind of stuff. The placement, the planning and placement of the garden, and all that, right? So you need to have those positions, right? 3, identify your resources, right? So there's a lot of households in a community. I'm sure people have, gardening equipment that they don't use anymore, or it's older, or that they can donate to the overall cause, right? So evaluate what resources you already have, and then, again, one of the planning committee rules is an inventory of equipment, right? So, so 4, approach a sponsor or potentially fundraise, right? So there's a lot of controversy or issues with fundraising lately, but establish some way to crowdsource or crowd fundraise or get a sponsor, right? So again, it connects the community better, right? And so if you have a community garden and a community support group, maybe someone in the group has a store that's nearby, and they help out, but you also send business to them. They sponsor you, or if you approach the neighborhood corner store, or the neighborhood grocery store, or the neighborhood sporting group, and go just ask, hey, we're starting a community garden. Would you like to donate, $100 to our community garden, right? And we'll, put a sign on our garden, so and so helped out, or whatever, right? 5, choose a site, right? So this can be an issue with HOAs and just having space, right? So there's a space at the end of my street, and I'm gonna evaluate what it'll take to maybe make a box garden or something like that. The other thing is, I am a distributor of Tower Garden, Juice Plus Tower Gardens, and if you email me, nicktotheplus@gmail, or nicktotheplus@nicktotheplus.com, or go to Nick to the Plus and contact me. We can talk about setting up a community tower garden, right? Which you also need some space, but you can produce a lot more with a smaller space, right? So that's an option. What I'm trying to set up as well is some type of solar charging or solar battery or battery alternative energy, because if we do lose power, tower gardens need power, and if they can be on solar and stored energy, that would be great, right? So a closed loop system and producing food, right? So 6, prepare and develop this site, right? So have a work party, right? Make it into a party, on a Saturday. Again, get on your Facebook group or your man, I still didn't think about it. What is it? next door or Facebook group, and make an event. Um, Prepare the site, a work party, right? So, and bring someone from your sponsor or your fundraising, get some water, get some little snacks, right? And meet in the morning and have a plan. People don't like to stand around, so as soon as people start getting there, have a plan for them to do something and get that organized, and then have a break or lunch or whatever. Only work for short periods of time, right? So people don't get burned out. Maybe have shifts, and but make it into a party as well. A potluck, bring them a potluck, and just further opportunities to connect the community, right? Okay, 7, plan for children, man. I mean, gardens are great for kids, right? They love to pick and they love to plant seeds and watch the seeds grow, and getting them involved is great. So, if you can, go to greenbronxmachine.org, I think, or look on YouTube for Green Bronx Machine, and you can see that's the greatest um, program in the country and probably the world for kids and growing food, right? Stephen Ritz, Green Bronx Machine, right? So go check it out. Then organize the garden. You probably need to organize the garden before you start prepping it, right? So you need to have a plan. What's grid it out, make a grid, and what's going to go where. How many plants of this are you going to plant where? So again, organize it. Maybe build a shed to keep your equipment. Do you live in the Texas Hill Country? There's going to be deer and rabbits and stuff like that. Do you have protection against the elements, right, for your garden? You don't want to build a garden and then all the rodents and animals come and eat it, right? 9, determine rules and put them in writing, right? So at your front gate or wherever your front, put a sign of the rules, right? So, have your website or your Facebook where they can check in to commit to a schedule, or give them the Facebook or the next door page. What are the rules? No vandalizing. Take, give your fair share of work and take your fair share of, determine how you're going to divide the produce or whatever you're producing from your garden, right? So just think about different rules, but again, they have on here communitygarden.org/resources/sample -garden-rules, right? So it's an example. 10, communicate with participants, right? So again, have a way to communicate. Your Facebook group, your next door group, have a group text, have a group email, have a newsletter, group email, or whatever to keep communication. But I'll highly recommend it. Once per week or twice per month or once a month, have a gathering of the whole community and make it a celebration or a party, like Thanksgiving or something like that, right? So that's about it. Again, go to American Community Garden Association, ACGA, communitygarden.org. Okay, so check that out. And I'm going to do that as well. And this is a really exciting project to me. Again, I'm working on a big project to set myself up for that better, right? So it's exciting times, but we really need to think about what the future looks like, what the future of food, how to rebuild local communities and local food systems, local systems, and work together so that we can survive and be sustainable and accountable and live to the plug.